Okay, I'm going to put on this corner bead. It's the last thing I'm doing. It's tape on. And here's how I do it. This is the same taping mud I've been using throughout. It's the same consistency too. I generally like to use for metal a little bit thicker than what you'd normally do. But this is how you do it. Oh, I'm going to show you. Notice how this corner is, I'm using round corner bead. And when you use round corner bead, you can't have a sharp edge here. Otherwise it'll hit the inside edge of your corner bead and hold your corner bead out too far. So you have to shave it off like you've got a 45-degree angle there, or else when you're nailing your sheetrock on, make sure that they don't come out to the end. Mine came out too far. I cut it off with a utility knife afterwards. So there again, I go back to my 5-inch knife and I spread the mud on there. And I like to put it on generously because it's all going to be wiped off anyways. So it doesn't really matter. I set the tape on corner bead. And I wiggle it around because you want it in the right spot so that it's equal on both sides. And so if you wiggle it around, it just basically it conforms to where it needs to be. And I like that. That's good right there. There again, I come back with my 5-inch knife and I'll start center, bottom, wherever you want. And I'll come in here and I'm not really running it all the way out to the end. I'm just kind of running it on the tape edge there. My objective here is to make sure the tape is fastened just like the rest of the tape is everywhere else. And there again, I'm not going real fast. I'm just trying to make it nice and clean. Now, since I'm using regular taping mud instead of 90-minute mud or your regular hot mud and stuff like that, once I get done here, I'm done for the day until tomorrow. You got to let this regular mud dry up before you put your next coat of mud over it. Otherwise, your tape and stuff like this right here, if I put another coat of mud over it, I'm not going to accomplish anything because it'll start to pull away and pooch out and you just end up with problems. You have to let regular mud dry 24 hours. Well, if you can see up here with the way the sunlight is, if it's too glaring, but that was a real mess that I was showing you on the tape a little earlier. But I just want to show you guys, as handy homeowners and stuff like that, as I said, you don't have to be perfect. This here was just a horrible tear out mess and everything. And I left it. And I put hot mud in there, filled it all up. And I don't know if you can tell with the video, but I got a layer of tape here, 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 2 more there. I've got it crossed off this way. When that's hard, and after we got the final finish on it, that's going to be just as solid, just as hard as though it was perfect sheetrock with no damage to it whatsoever. The integrity of it is going to be perfect. I mean, you're not going to have any problems. That's it for today. There's nothing more to do today other than clean up my tools and we'll start tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to show you, I've already put the first coat of mud on the walls. I'm going to show you how I run angles. I'm using a 5-inch knife here. I've also got this that runs both angles at the same time. I typically don't use this unless I'm in a hurry to do both coats really quick, but I'm going to show you how it works anyways. If you run your angles with a 5-inch knife, you have to let the other side dry hard before you can run the second side. But I'll show you how this is done. I come in here like this. I get all the mud on one side of the knife and take a little off, if that's the left side that I'm going to do. And I start down here, and this takes a lot of technique to get it right. But this is how I do it, and this actually turns out a really, really good product if you work at it. But it takes a bit of skill. And you can't wait and do it and take forever. I'm taking it off the other side. can't take forever doing this, otherwise it starts to dry up on you. And then I come over here, and then I kind of feather this edge here, like that. And there again, I'm feathering the outside edge. I'm going to try to get down one last swipe. And then I come in here like this. And then my 5-inch knife is just barely touching the side here. And then I come across this way. Same thing. It's just kind of rubbing a little bit. And I try to stop where this joint is. Now I've got some mess ups over here. I can leave it and scrape it off after it dries. If I can get it right now. Typically I let it dry because if you do this and mess it up, then you gotta get you gotta go over it again. But I'll come in here like that. And if you can see that edge there, that's pretty much perfect. And then after this dries, then you can do this side. But this has to be dry. Typically you want to wait 24 hours. I'm using 90-minute mud, so in a couple of hours I can actually run this side. But this side does have to be done, otherwise when you run it, your edge of your knife will be tearing out the mud on that side. I'm going to go to this angle over here and show you how to do it with this other knife where you can run both sides at the exact same time. I come in here and I run mud just like this, which is a different process. And I'm just putting the mud on is basically all I'm doing. And I'll do it as high as I can reach, and then the next step I'll get off of the ladder. Okay. There again, I'm just kind of, it's almost like you're spotting nails in a way. It's the first process of getting the mud on. The reason I say that is watch, if I was spotting nails here, same thing. Putting the mud on. I got mud there. Now I'll use this knife here. And I've never really perfected it with this very well, which is I don't think anybody else has either. But anyways, I don't like to say I don't really like the tool, but it is a way to do it all, both sides, in one day or one time. I'm just going to show you how you run an angle on a vaulted ceiling up here, because there's an odd angle here. There again, I can only run one side at a time. So I'll run the ceiling, and there again, I put the mud on one side mostly, and it blobs off onto the ground a lot of times, but that's just unavoidable when you're doing this kind of work. There again, I come across, and I'm feathering, and I'm putting all the pressure on this side of my knife right here. Then I come across here and I pull this side off. And I'm always cleaning my knife. Now on the final run, I'm actually trying to get an angle where very little mud lays on the wall itself. And I look at that and I go, one more run on it. And I like that. I'll come through and just clean this up a little bit. And that's perfect. You can't improve on that. That is just absolutely flawless in there. And how you do that, like I say, is I use a 5-inch knife. And I put it up there. It looks great. And then I'll show you later on how you do this side, which is the same, but you got to let this side dry. That's